Hi, I'm Carcina.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. And once again, we're back as the Edgewater Police Department continues to strike back. Now, Edgewater is not known for its diversity. It's not known for its inclusion. And I told people just yesterday about this situation, about the drama that was going on. Thanks, Shan. I appreciate it. And all of these different things that was being implied when it came to Joseph Budden. Just did the live yesterday, and today it takes another turn to basically the ridiculous, as the press release is going out from Edgewater Police Department. And here is why we're going to get into that, why Edgewater decided to do this. Go ahead and hit the like button, please. Hit the like button up. No, this ain't gin. This is actually water. Joe Budden looks like he's 65. If I told you I was older than Joe Budden, would you believe it? No, you wouldn't. But Joe Budden is older than me. I mean, younger than me. Sorry. Absolutely. Now, I don't think anyone else is having a problem hearing me. So, Doug, you might have to reset your system. Kev, what's up, Kev Cook? My classmate is up in here. Yes, as now we'll get to this lawsuit that we just put out. I just talked about why I wouldn't do business with Joe Budden. Just yesterday, I just told people why. Now, here's this press release that comes out, right? And they state in this press release on December 4th, 2024, at approximately 7:21 a.m., the Edgewater police were dispatched to an apartment complex for the report from a residence that a man was standing outside of their apartment door completely naked. The caller recognized the man as a neighbor, Joseph Budden Jr., a 44-year-old male. The caller was alerted to Budden by their doorbell camera. The video depicted Budden attempting to enter a code into the door keypad several times before re-entering his own residence across the hall. As a result of a police investigation, Budden was charged with lewdness, disorderly persons offense on a complaint summons. Chief Martin states that these charges are mere accusations, that the defendant is presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, why was this released? Why did Edgewater Police Department, Donald A. Martin, the chief of police, decide to release this if he says these are mere accusations that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If the incident happened on December the 4th, 2024, why on December 30th will you make the press release? That is weeks away, almost 4 weeks away, almost a month later, you're making a press release for something that happened on December the 4th. Sleepwalking. Whenever Joe gets into problems, he used sleepwalking. When he got caught in bed with his manager, when him and his manager slept next to each other in the bed, knowing that that was going to come out and he was going to be extorted for that, he brought up sleepwalking. I sleepwalked. And I came into it. I'm a sleepwalker. So now he's using sleepwalking again. So people are assuming that he's sleepwalking. But how are you sleepwalking and you pressing codes to get into your house? Can't do that asleep, but let me say, he was sleepwalking, he walked outside. So I guess Joe Budden sleeps naked. Joe Budden sleeps completely naked and walks out. So when he slept with his manager, Joe was completely naked when he got in the bed. And then his manager didn't get out of the bed. He stayed in the bed with him. So he admits that, but wanted to use sleepwalking to get out of it. In my opinion, what I felt happened was probably him and his woman got into it, put him out of the house naked, and Joe had a code to get back into the house. Joe was already having problems with this neighbor. According to Joe. But word around the campfire, keeping my ear to the ground, I've been finding out some things. What I found out is that everything is stemming from this one incident, that they didn't have a problem with Joe Budden. That's not the case. The people that live in there, Joe make probably a lot more money or just amount as money as them. There's some people there that got money, but it's a certain type of behavior that they don't like there. They don't like a lot of these characters coming in there, meaning people of color, even when they say it's diverse and they're talking about diversity, they're not trying to be diverse. Okay, they're not trying to be woke. They're not trying to be part of this new culture. What they're trying to do and what they're trying to be a part of, none of these people are even accustomed to thinking about. Absolutely. So when people start making the assumptions that this is the case and how it's going to go out and how it's going to appear, this is what it is. You got to deal with the circumstances as they present themselves. Now, there's a lot of people that took a hit when people say, oh man, they went black on this, they died, they blacked out, and they did this and that. Well, so a lot of people are gonna do things that are not usually abundant in this situation. But I think him and his girl got into it, and that led to Joe being put out. And this guy here seemed to have a problem with Joe Budden's attitude. Joe Budden has been very standoffish in the past, and Joe waited for the last day of 2024 to get 2024 As I told you yesterday, there's a long line of abuse claims against Joe Budden. These women, he's thinking that this is why Joe Budden has not dated real women. He date women from starlets. Okay, he's the starlet. They got Joe Budden picture probably up on the wall. He has saved many women's lives that's on in starlets. He dates these adult women and all these women that strip and do because he feels no one cares about them. I can do whatever I want. We talked about the Lakers trade already, right? Go through the timeline. Now, Joe's got a weird case. Why is he around? Joe's got a weird case. Why is he around? Now, Donald Martin putting that statement out was crazy. An unthinkable case. It's the weird case I've ever heard in my life. But let's get to the gist of it. Now, his neighbors, Joe's claim is that the neighbors want him out because of a rule saying that he can't record in the facility. He's not allowed to record in the and do podcast shows in that, it's a rule, but nobody was looking to enforce this rule. Joe Budden, and the way his standoffish behavior is with this neighbor, has caused this rift. So the Edgewater police, who in my opinion, I believe is racist, they don't want him being there anyway. And that they actually do have this scene of Joe Budden being in there. And now the person who's the resident there, now I don't believe him when he's saying, my 2 juvenile daughters observed this offense live on their phones. Now, why the hell would some juvenile daughters be looking at this on the phones? See, this is when that white people stuff come in. They ain't even got to tell me. I know he white. So my 2 juvenile daughters observed this offense live on their phones. He's white. He's white. Whenever they make a statement like that, they whites. Charged with lewdness. See, lewdness is a charge that normally gets tossed out or it's a fine. But in certain states like Jersey, depending on the extent of the lewdness and what was it pertaining to, you could be looking at time. Plus, you could lose sponsorships. See, this is why Joe Budden didn't want to tell anybody about it. This is why he was being so descriptively vague. And they would just out the condo. And everybody's like, why are they not filming in the condo? Then he says, I got some personal things going on. So everybody thought it was about him and his girl. Right? And I'm alluding to the fact that I think they did have some problems, him and his girl, which led to him being outside completely naked. Now he's going to work things out with her so that it don't turn into a domestic thing, because then that's going to open up Pandora's box, and all of a sudden, all the women he didn't put hands on, they all pouring out. It's like, oh God, here they come. There's so many hoes. Next thing you know, the Joe Budden podcast is gone, and he's back with a big beard sitting on the couch. I'm innocent. That's what's going to be coming of this. But there's more. Now, you know this guy wear a Miri hats, right? He wear a Miri hats, and his lawyer is actually Nima Amiri. No relation to the company. But I guess that's why he got a Miri law firm. He hired them and they fired back at the Edgewater Police Department. Mr. Budden is saddened by the police chief Martin's press release. Mr. Budden has been waiting weeks for his cross complaints to be processed, which includes substantially more serious charges, including possible felony charges against the persons behind these charges against him. The chief has, in our opinion, sat on those, but instead to use his time to gain some free publicity for himself. Chief Martin should seek publicity by doing noticeable policing, not inflaming disorderly persons' allegations. So, she is upset. And then she said, the allegations against Mr. Budden are a minor charge, not even resulting in an arrest. A charge Mr. Budden is looking to beat in courts on the merits, not in the press. The chief's comments are reckless and, in our opinion, racially motivated. Our research has not shown a single press release on a disorderly person's charge on the police website this year. His choice to single out Mr. Budden, in our opinion, is self-motivated and based off Mr. Budden's race and celebrity status. Budden has a court date scheduled for next month. Of course! Joe Budden. Let me remind you, you are black. Newsflash, you are black with money in white folks, what they consider their area. Okay, so you're in their stratosphere and you bringing other niggas up in there. They're not gonna like that. Look, you see, Joe Budden is rich. And here's what I know. Joe Budden doesn't. This is what I've learned that most of you might don't know yet. Joe Budden owns not only that one, that condo, right, that he was paying on. He had another one in the same building. So he had two. And one he lived and the one in the studio that they recorded in. He had a connecting one that he lives in. So he owns two. Now you got to realize they're bringing cameras, they're bringing all these things to light, right? But they're bringing in all of these other Negroes that don't live there, that's broke. They're not broke, but you bringing Negroes around white folks who don't want to be around Negroes. This is why they went here, because it's a restricted community. But they say, no, we're very diverse. You know why? Because you know what diversity means to them? This guy here he's from the Ukraine. He's an immigrant. We're diverse. Look, this person here, they're from Costa Rica. We're diverse. Joe is somewhere right now pissed because he's taking a publicity slap. But yes, this is racially motivated. And it's racially motivated by Edgewater Police Department. Just let this be known to anybody who's black and who's there. That place is racist. You have to know anyway before you get involved, that police department is racist. What they just did to Joe Budden is based on race. By them putting out a press release a month later for lewdness because of Joe Budden's situation. Then state in a little thing at the bottom that he's innocent to proven guilty. Why did you feel a need to do that? And if you were going to do that, you should have did that probably like 3-4 days after it was done. And there was no arrest. The police just showed up at the house and they left. So if you did not arrest the man, why would you feel a need to make a press release for a non-arrest a month later? Because it's racist. Joe in his mind, and this is how Joe Budden thinks, I gotta compete with these white boys. They got a car. I got a Maserati too. I pull my cars up with them. They don't want to, they're not competing with you. In their mind, they don't care what you earn. In their mind, they're thinking you look like a fool trying to impress them. I got an Amiri hat too. Why are you wearing a? He's trying to oppress rich white folks who don't consider themselves. They don't have the same thought patterns. They don't have the same thought patterns. They don't feel like competing with you because you're not somebody that they feel is in their class. Okay? So they don't feel like competing with you. They're not competing with you. They feel like they will be lowering themselves to compete with you. So trying to impress people like that makes you look stupid. Especially to them. They like, he bought the same car as me. Like, oh my gosh. Like, they would look at that as, wow. To them, like I told you yesterday, they view that as a car. You look at that as, yes, yeah, yeah, I'm stepping up. They looking like, okay, it's a car. They look at it as a car, dude. They're not looking at it the way you're looking at it. You think of this as something incredible, off the chart. This is a big step up because for you, it is. You come from nothing. These people probably come from money. They was probably hand-given this job that they got now. They riches, they got it the really old-fashioned way. They inherited it. It's been passed down to them. So they never had to work for anything. So why would they ever want to compete? That's why they don't want us around. They can't compete with us work for work. They was like, oh, hell no. No, we don't need that. End diversity now. Those guys that make us, they highlight the fact we don't do any work. So now, exactly. So when you look at the culture and you start looking at the situation, these people are going to be trying to play the role of victim. My two daughters saw this incident. They're traumatized. He's going to white guy this thing all the way down the line. This neighbor is completely white, completely on the same side of racist. And this is how they're moving along. They're choosing this direction. The Edgewater Police Department. Now, The Edgewater Police Department has not had any situations in which I see any diversity on the force whatsoever. Oh, that was about mm-hmm. Well, they have Edgewater has two departments. They have the borough police, and then they have the other police department with Edgewater Police. Now, when you date women, right, and you're supposed to be doing certain things for them, or when you date women who are content creators of that nature, you're starting to see that there is a lot of differentials when it comes to the situation at hand. I see it all the time. Now, Edgewater, and what people don't realize about them is that I don't take this department as a wow, we're people that are diverse. This takes me as a department, as you can see here, the Edgewater headquarters. Hell, they all look like they could be related. They could all have the same mama. Shit, she looked like their mama, and it's her boys. They have we are a family. We don't give a damn about you Negroes. So, if they get a call, and it's a Negro rapper, they're going to call Joe Budden a rapper. We wouldn't, but they would. Some hippity hop Joseph Budden Jr. I thought it was just some guy, a white guy, and I get there, and this Negro raps guy and gangbanger with his stripper girlfriend living over here in Edgewater. Get out of town! So they had a meeting after this to decide that Joe Budden recording over there is actually a rule saying that you can't. So he has to evacuate that, that place. He can't record there anymore. Now, they never enforced that until this incident happened. So we'll have to wait to see what Joe Budden's claims are in this situation and a response to it. But I don't believe the Edgewater Police headquarters, this is the headquarters, right? Headquarters, have any notion of giving him any fairness whatsoever. And I don't believe anything that they say. So this whole police department, them showing up to the scene and them putting out this press release the way they did it, lets me know they're not on the up and up. Now, we talked about what they claim to be diverse over there. We're going to get to what that's about with old Chief Martin. This is what old Chief Martin is. Look at old Chief Martin right there. See, that's Chief Martin right there. That big old fat been sitting on his ass all day, ain't doing nothing. And here he is with all these South Koreans, all these South Korean government officials, and the fire chief, the first aid squad, and the borough of France hosted a group to discuss emergency management and highlighted Edgewater's response to an Avalon fire back in 2015. Right? There was a fire back in Avalon they felt was racially motivated against them. So the South Koreans, who they claim now is diversity, they wanted the Edgewater department to show that, hey, you're looking out for us. So these South Koreans came there, and because they're unified, the South Koreans are there in unison and they're organized. Edgewater, they had to do this little photo op to prove that they ain't bigoted. Look at us, diversity. So, oh no, not defending Joe Budden. He's still a degenerate. In my book, Joe Budden is an arrogant degenerate. But in this case, looking at it from the outside looking in, I cannot ignore the Edgewater Police Department as a racist place. The way they worded everything that has went down and took that guy's account and hadn't even put out anything Joe Budden has said when there was no arrest made. Why are you putting out a press release a month later? Happy New Year, bro. That's Chinatown. That's Koreatown. And they wasn't playing no games. So this has been going on. That incident happened in 2015 about the fire. They took this 3 years later to get this resolved. See, Edgewater has a bad reputation for things of this nature and it going away. They do a little something to make sure it goes away and everybody goes back to business. Now, when we start looking at the town of Edgewater, the team that they got, their softball team that they sponsor, the police department, all white kids. White. So where is the diversity? So you sponsor the all-white base basketball team. There they go again. National Digital Transformation. So now the members of the South Korean business and government community visited with Edgewater to discuss parking enforcement. So, similar to Edgewater, South Korea using technology to enforce parking requirements. Edgewater would be automatically its resident parking program through automatic license plate reading technology, virtually eliminating the manual system of registration and enforcement. This technology will improve our residents' ability to park on our streets. See, they are not happy with outsiders. They don't like outsiders. So basically, in New York, you can't park anywhere anyway. That's why everybody's walking and taking cabs. Can't park anywhere unless you live there. So, as you can see, Edgewater. Look at him. White, 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 white. White, 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 white. Whole community. The coastal cleanup program. Look at these people all in there to clean up. Oh, whoa, we got a black person right there on the scene helping clean up. I knew it. Whenever there's something to clean up something, all right, we got to do all the dirty work. We can get some black people involved. They got a Latino in there when it's to do something and some Asians. Yeah, I knew it. But the chief of police, they gonna pose with the photo, but you know they ain't down there picking up a goddamn thing. Edgerton. Mm-hmm. Now, here's something you gotta see. Shady Side. Old River Road in Shady Side. Sunday is the whole arts and music festival. So arts and music, now they got the brother on the promo. They got all the black folks out there. They got this white guy with this black guy. They threw blacks everywhere. Now they diverse. When it's the art and music all day long in Edgewater. Come on down. It's the arts and music festival. Yeah, we can let the blacks come in and entertain us with art and music. I'll be there. Then when that fest closed, we got 45 minutes to get our ass out of Edgewater. It's 2024 finna be 2025. It's the same old thing. And nothing changed. Once again, it's time to clean something up. And what do we see? Latinos and black folks. Into Edgewater. Thank you. Thank you from Edgewater. Thank you for coming here and cleaning up. Thanks to the Latinos and blacks for coming in here, cleaning up our mess that we dump over there on the sidelines. Welcome to Edgewater. And this is what Edgewater is. And what they say up there, thank you. Like, thank you. Making us nice and clean for us white folks to mess it up again. And we'll call you back. But remember, you got 45 minutes to get the hell out of Edgewater. Yeah. Oh, Joe Budden was back on meth. They have us working and collecting the taxpayers' dollars. Yep. Exactly. So when they say we are diverse, all they mean is South Koreans. They back in there again. The South Koreans, baby. Why? Because they got that money. And look at old Doug. He right in the middle, boy. Edgewater Police Department. Right there, smack in the middle. You want diversity? You better go to Harrison. Oh yeah, Harrison is like their. If they get in trouble, they can go to Harrison. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, Joe Budden. He was butt naked sleepwalking at 7:21 a.m. Joe Budden, no, that's not going to be Joe Budden. Instead, you got the new Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man in the Hood. Get away from me! Spider-Man, no! Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man in the Hood, baby. No, not Spider-Man! Get back, Spider-Man, no! Spider-Man 4, baby. Oh my goodness. Joe Budden is in for it now, and a lot of people are going to see this, and it's going to be a situation where it's public humiliation for Joe. And this is what the Edgewater Police Department wanted to do, publicly humiliate Joe. Oh yeah, now the OVO community is like, yep, this is what it's about. Now Joe Budden is out there. You think Drake isn't behind pushing this too?
You cannot film anything in any of those buildings. And what I'm going through personally is totally separate from why we not over there. The long and short of that is the bylaws of the town, because now the town is involved, says that you cannot film anything in any of those buildings.
Oh.
That's the long and short of it. Now, you could choose to fight that and go to court and spend the money, but somebody over there got the town involved, and that's what it is. For me, I didn't want none of my people to continue to be surveilled and scrutinized and treated
That was
a certain way.
yeah.
I never want that. So, and what I'm going through personally is totally separate from why we not over there. The long and short of that is the bylaws of the town, because now the town is involved, says that you cannot film anything in any of those buildings.
Oh.
That's the long and short of it. Now, you could choose to fight that and go to court and spend the money, but somebody over there got the town involved, and that's what it is. For me, I didn't want none of my people to continue to be surveilled and scrutinized and treated
That was
a certain way.
And you see, that's what the situation detailed. But to not sit down and have a conversation with your staff prior to the situation of them not knowing what's going on, that's when it goes left. Obviously, right? It's obvious. That's the direction everyone's going in. Well, of course they did that on purpose. Edgewater wouldn't have it any other way. That's why it was done. So if you know that, you know this is the way they're gonna proceed moving forward. And all of that yelling and all that crazy Joe Budden stuff that he's been doing and getting away with, everybody now know what that progression leads to and what it's about. Joe Budden knows what he's doing. The Edgerton Police Department knows what he's doing. I don't think it's fair what they did to Joe. And this is about a neighbor dispute, but they sided with one side because one side happens to be racist, and they're going down that whole rabbit hole. This is just an average night for Joe Budden. But the public humiliation is there. But remember, we
I
talk.
want to stay at, which is get the fucking 2-3 bedroom and be fine. And I just remember going to bed. I ain't even cut a TV on. So I woke up and I went to look for my phone, to look for some other belongings of mine, and I didn't see them. And then I looked around some more. This ain't my room. Oh shit! Ian's room.
Hey, yo.
So I gathered myself. Where is Ian? And I walk out to the hallway. I say, hey, that wasn't my room. He said, buddy, you woke up in the middle of the night, barged in my room, but then you got into bed with me. Oh, yeah, because Ian was laying on the living room with a blanket. No. You want to stay at, which is get the fucking 2-3 bedroom and be fine. And I just remember going to bed. I ain't even cut a TV on. So I woke up and I went to look for my phone, to look for some other belongings of mine, and I didn't see them. And then I looked around some more. This ain't my room. Oh shit! Ian's room.
Hey, yo.
So I gathered myself. Where is Ian? And I walk out to the hallway. I say, hey, that wasn't my room. He said, buddy, you woke up in the middle of the night, barged in my room, but then you got into bed with me. Oh, yeah, because Ian was laying on the living room with a blanket.
Well, now that all of this is happening, Drake people think this is a victory for Drake. I don't understand that. Oh yeah, they're trying to put him in all of these things, and
They hit on where we know.
oh, Joe is out there with the "I'm still outside" post. Yes, they had LL Cool J on their platform, and they voted him best guest of the Joe Budden TV Awards. Now, to me, I want to speak on that. I want to speak on that now. The Joe Budden TV Awards had LL Cool J as the best guest. Do you want to know why that happened? Because LL Cool J was probably one of the biggest guests they ever had pull up and come on their platform. As far as stature and anything, on their show. But what does this tell when you start saying we're doing award shows on your platform? What are you doing? You're basically singling out anybody who was a guest on your show. And what you're basically doing now is telling them they're not good enough. You were on my show, but you weren't better than this person. So now you're going to have people that might feel offended who came on your show. See, I understand why people do things, but you got to look at the stupidity in what you're doing. This is the stupidity in what you're doing. If you have a platform where you don't put guests against other guests. You think Shannon Sharp finna sit there and have on Club Shay Shay, we're gonna have the award for best guest on my show. No, they're not finna do something as stupid as that. So this is why when you do stuff like this and you single out one guest on your show, I wouldn't want to come back. Unless I needed your platform, why the hell would I come back? If you just did that to me. What did he do that would make him the better guest than anybody else that came up there? And I'm an LL Cool J fan. I'm just saying, anybody else who's coming on your show, yeah, right. If that would be the Cat Williams interview. Nobody else would even by far say the interview was better. But some people would. They would feel offended. If they was put in a group of the category, it'd be Cat Williams, Monique, or anybody else in that category. Who would you say was the best interview? Now, if you want the crowd to vote, that's different. But when you vote, that's a problem. Now, you could put that in like a poll or something, but you don't go out and honor that and be like, our fans voted y'all and said, y'all were the best interview that we've had this year. That's what you do. You don't say, we voted. So if I'll come back on the show, I'll be like, so what you didn't like about the interview we did last time? What you want me to do? Whoop your ass on this show so I can get number one? We finna go number one. We finna go all time. We finna break a streaming record. I come in here and be like, I brought me some brand numbers too, just in case I gotta stick one of these other dudes and try to grab it. Like Parks or something. Parks be, that's not part of it. Oh, this show's gonna be number one. I want my award. They're gonna be taking me out in the cuffs. I want my award. Send it to me. We broke a record, baby. Riverside. I know, right? So the new show is titled Joe Budden, I Am an Addict. Oh, the other shoe gonna drop? It always drops, don't it? It always drops. It never fails. This is why when you look at scenarios or anything of that nature, of stature, when you start looking at people all together, you start to figure it out. And then you understand why people do certain things that they do as a history of doing bad things. Right? People have a history of doing things that don't benefit them. They have a history of doing things that basically denigrates what they're supposed to be representing. Now, I don't know if you guys know, because you might not, that Joe Budden and his girl have started this show. Now, this was a month ago when all of this stuff was going down. That Ian, he brought his wife, Joe Budden brought his side piece that he's with now, and the Joe Budden Network is putting this thing together called Pod Wives. And they're going to produce it to try to keep her quiet as I guess she felt like I need something for me. And when you start doing that, you started coming up with stuff like this, Pod Wives. And this is what happens when you start dating women who want to be on the camera, who want to have their own little thing going on. Because Joe's dating this girl who's young enough to be his daughter. And he's out here, yeah, it's me and wifey. So I guess this is the 15th starlet chick that he didn't grab the hold to. And now she wants to be seen. So now she has this podcast show. They set it up, this little section area here, and they were going to record. Now, who knows what's going to happen in this recording space now, because Ian, his manager, the one he was in bed with, is with his wife. You got Parks and his girl. And all of this is just the inclusion of being on here like a relationship show. And Joe is sitting in a feminine position, just like Ian's wife. Notice this. Look at that. Joe is sitting in a very feminine position, just like Ian's wife. Ian, who was in bed with Joe Budden. So understand what Joe really wants to do here. Joe wants to try to get this off the ground so his girl could stay off his ass and they wouldn't have any fights. And the reason he was locked out in his underwear, this should resolve that problem. This is the show we're going to do. Notice it's Joe and his white friends, because that's who Joe wants to hang with. He don't care about no Ice and Ish and all of them. Hell, they got wives and girlfriends. Why they not on the show? Why is this show with your white friends? No, Joe has been white for years. He's been a white hipster his entire time, trying to pretend. Once he stopped rapping, he let that persona go. He was like, I gotta just let that go, because I really hang out with just a bunch of white people all day. I would believe it. But now you have this new dynamic, this new show that you want to get off the ground. It ain't moving, but still, they're only 2 episodes in. What's going to happen with the show now? And will his girl stay quiet on what happened that night that he was locked outside of his house at 7:21 a.m.? Pod wives will not last. Hey, I'm just trying to let you know, this is it was something to keep these women engaged. They want to be on TV. They want something going for them. And this is what they have to do when you're dealing with a woman in this platform. Now, this is why I don't like dating women who post stuff or make videos online and it's all into the camera, because you wanted to get away from that. Most of the women I date, they don't even have Instagram. Like, I don't do Instagram. I don't do like Facebook. I just do my family stuff. I'm not big on posting. I'd be great. You're perfect. Because when you get through recording, you don't want to have, like, you be like, all right, I'm done. I want to get into real life and just detach You don't want to detach, and then all of a sudden here she is going live. Hi, I'm with my boo, and this is episode 2 of Us. And I'll be, no. You'll go insane. Yep. So that's what's going on here. They're singling out Joe Budden. And I don't want to see the ring camera photo of Joe trying to get back in his house butt naked. I don't think anybody needs to see that. So it's just too toxic over there right now. Let's see if a press release comes out if Joe's claim about his neighbors is printed. No, Joe's not going to smash Melissa Ford. Melissa Ford is about, what, 50? Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to holler at y'all later. Shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Welcome to HDII TV, Armando Black TV. Don't forget to go to the Patreon, Carcino for Life. We'll have more in-depth on conversations about this. But Cino needs to make some moves. I'm out.